Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thanks for joining me again here in the card closet. Glad to have you. Today's video is going to be another set spotlight, and we're going to take a look at 1973 Topps football. This was by request, and I'm going to try something new with the lighting. These set spotlights are very difficult to do because I keep them in these pages. There's always, no matter what way you face, there's always something glaring. And I'm going to try to move the light around, or not the light, I'm going to move the camera around a little bit more this time and instead of the pages. So we'll give that a go. Hopefully it works out well. So 1973 Topps football. As you can see, it started out with some playoff cards, and this was commemorating the perfect season for the Miami Dolphins. Winners of the Super Bowl. You can see here in the AFC Championship game that they beat my Pittsburgh Steelers. 1972 was a big year for the Steelers too. It marked their first time in history that they were actually a relevant football team. This card right here, the AFC semifinal game, Steelers 13, Raiders 7. That is the game of the Immaculate Reception. Terry Bradshaw to Frenchie Fuqua, deflected back to Franco Harris, who ran it in for the touchdown. It was officially a 60-yard touchdown play from Bradshaw to Franco Harris. So let's get into the teams here. We've got the alphabetical order, AFC first, Baltimore Colts. This is the first year, I believe, without Johnny Unitas, who we will see soon on a different team. Buffalo Bills. Mr. O.J. Simpson. It's one of the better cards in the set. Coincidentally, I've been watching through the O.J. Simpson trial on YouTube. The entire trial, or the parts of it that were televised, are all on YouTube. Hours and hours and hours of viewing pleasure. If you want to go through the O.J. Simpson trial on YouTube, I'd recommend you fast forward through all the forensic and DNA parts. Very boring. Cleveland Browns. Of course, this was the first Cleveland Brown franchise, now known as the Baltimore Ravens. Got Mr. Tough Guy Lyle Alzado there. He went to college here in South Dakota. His college is now a prison. Denver Broncos. Houston Oilers. Lenny Dawson was still playing in 73. In a way, this was a year of transition. The old timers from the 60s were hanging it up, and the guys that would be the heroes in the later 70s and early 80s were just starting. And here are those Miami Dolphins who were undefeated that year. I like this Larry Zonka card. Topps did experiment with the landscape a little bit more in 1973. It's quarterback Bob Greasy. I know I say it every time, but this is Jim Langer's rookie card, and he and my dad were buddies in college. I believe Jim lives up in northern Minnesota somewhere now. Get to the New England Patriots. Early Jim Plunkett card there. The Jets. Joe Namath. It's one of the better cards in the set there as well. Wearing his stocking cap that says Joe on it. How many players have stocking hats with their names on them? Here are the Oakland Raiders. Really good team back then. George Blanda. Fred Biletnikoff. Here's an early John Riggins on the Jets. Here's more of that really good Raiders team. Got Art Shell. There's the Snake, Ken Stabler. Jack Tatum, who I believe is the guy who made the hit on Frenchie Fuqua on that Immaculate Reception. If the ball had hit him, I forget what the rule was, but there was a debate. If the ball had hit him versus Frenchie Fuqua, it would have been an illegal play one way or the other. Maybe somebody can remind me in the comments. Here's Terry Bradshaw with some hair. So this was the year that the Steelers were emerging as a force. Here is Frenchie Fuqua, who the Immaculate Reception was intended for. Got Joe Green here, Elsie Greenwood. Lots of Hall of Famers here. Jack Ham. This is Franco Harris's rookie card. The uniform almost looks green. Ray Mansfield. You know, the long lineage of Hall of Fame or near Hall of Fame caliber centers did not start with Mike Webster. It started with Ray Mansfield. He was a great center. And we get to the Chargers. Deacon Jones finished up with the Chargers there. Probably the most interesting one on the page here is Johnny Unitas wearing his Colts uniform, but the card says Chargers. Here were the leaders that year. We get into the NFC. John Zook here was the coach of the Florida Gators right after Steve Spurrier was. Here come the Dallas Cowboys. Incredible team throughout the 70s. Lance Allworth was with them at the end. Bob Lilly. Roger Staubach. Rayfield Wright, he's a Hall of Famer. Here we get into the Lions. More Lions, and then the Packers. Fred Dreyer, who was on a TV show. There's John Hadel, quarterback. Merlin Olsen, who had an acting career after football, did the FTD floral commercials as well. Check out the off-centeredness of this card. I think 0-100 is the most extreme off-center you can do, but that might be -20, -80. And then we get into the Vikings. They were good throughout the 70s. Players like Carl Eller and Wally Hilgenberg. Paul Krause, I believe, is still the all-time interception leader, if I'm not mistaken. Dave Osborne graduated from high school with my mother-in-law. Post-college, when I think he was still playing college ball, but my mother-in-law and Dave Osborne's wife were roommates in Fargo, and they rented an apartment together, and she said Dave was, playing college ball at the time, and Dave was over at the apartment all the time, so she got to know them real well, and they still do Christmas cards to this day. All rise for the real judge, Alan Page. Fran Tarkenton, he had a lot of pretty looking cards in the 70s. I like this one. Looking over the field, got his big linemen all there lined up to protect him. One of whom was Mick Tingelhoff. Another one here was Ron Yeri. They both played with him for many, many years. All right, moving along here, we've got the Saints. Got an early Archie Manning card. I believe that's his second-year card. His grandson is making news right now as being a top recruit. Here's Tom Dempsey, who for many years had the longest field goal of all time, and that card is a real good picture of his right foot, of which he only had half of a foot. Somebody was chiding him one time that, with all the wood that was in his shoe down there, of course he could kick a field goal 63, 64 yards. And he said, I'd challenge anybody with half of a foot to kick a field goal of any distance. Quite remarkable what he accomplished there. St. Louis Cardinals. Here come the 49ers. Just an era of 49ers that I'm not too familiar with. Steve Spurrier, of course. And then finishing it up, Bill Kilmer. Used to like his cards in the late 70s because they had all these stats on the back because he had played such a long career. And we got some boyhood photos at the end of the set here. Roman Gabriel is one of them. And then, like usual, Topps ends it with checklists. So there you have it. That's 1973 Topps Football by request. If you've got a set, baseball, basketball, or football, that you'd like to see from between 1970 and the present, leave that set name in the comments and I will try to get to it in an upcoming set spotlight. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Take care, God bless, and we'll talk to you again soon.